All right, welcome to day 2, prepping the design in Design Space. We're going to create the slider, the grass, the flowers, the sun, and all of the decorative elements. And we are going to make sure we have everything that we need for this particular card. And of course, we're going to spend most of our time in Design Space today. And you have seen this as of yesterday. Make sure you've got your templates uploaded. Now you'll notice when I move this around that my little line in the middle seems to be moving. So what I want to do is just grab this together. I'm going to come up here to a line and I am going to center it. Now my line is in the proper place. Now the line in the middle here, it's a red line. We know Bette Makes designed it because it's red, and we're going to click on score. So now we have just the top part here. I'm going to gather it together. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to come up here in the layers panel and double click on the word attach and put card. And that's just so I know that that is the piece that we're working on right here. Now I have another piece here that's going to fit in behind, and it's going to cover up the holes, and that is so the slider is able to move easily by itself. That can be the same color as the card, not an issue. Now, this is the slider itself. Now, we're going to cut it out of a medium cardstock. It's going to match the color here, but I need a duplicate copy of this, and we need it out of a thicker material. Craft board works well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hold down the Alt key here, and I'm going to drag a copy out, and I'm going to make it a different color because it's going to be a different type of material. I'm just going to make it dark purple. And that tells me that that is going to be the craft board one we're going to work with. Now, we have kind of finished with this side of it, so let me just scroll over here just a little bit to the next piece we want to work on. And that is all the parts and pieces that we have that go through the slider and everything else. So let me ungroup these. Great. So I have a happy birthday here that can go on, of course, an easy part. This is all set up for basic cut, but we want to make sure we have a pen for it. And I'm just going to come over here. I want to grab a copy of this backing. So I'm going to grab an Alt. I'm going to bring this back here. Great. Because what I want to do is make sure the happy birthday is going to fit on here in the background, but I want to change my happy birthday from a basic cut to a pen, and I don't like black pens, so let's just make it a raspberry color for now. And let's just take both of these, and we want to align them center so they're nice and even, and then I am going to attach those. Come up to attach here where we know we have it, and I'm just going to type in happy birthday. Great, so that's one of the greetings that can go on the inside. If you don't want it to be a birthday, it could be a happy Mother's Day. And of course I want to change this from basic cut to pen, and once again I'll just change it to that same raspberry color. Now I want to make sure everything is centered. I'm going to highlight both of these. I'm going to line those center and then grab those together. I'm going to attach them. You see the attach up here in the layers panel. Double click it, and I'm just going to put Happy Mother's Day. So I know what the greeting is. So I have a happy birthday, happy Mother's Day. So I've got two pieces I've finished with. Now here we have some grass elements. Now I'm going to slide just a little bit over here for the grass elements. And of course, with the grass elements, we have to make sure that they are going to fit on the card that we're working with. And from there, we will be able to know whether this is going to work or not. Now we're going to have two grass elements. Okay, that's gone in behind, so let's arrange it and bring it to the front. We are going to have grass that fits down at the bottom here. You want a little bit at the edge. And we have another grass element which has larger pieces, and I'm going to have to bring that to the front too. Arrange, bring forward, and then I can slide this down. So this is, the grass is what's going to hide our little flowers until they can pop out, and they'll be just glued down at the side. So we know those are a good size. We're happy with those. I'm just going to move those over to the side so we have two grass pieces we're going to work with. Now we have a little slit here, and this is where we're going to place the sun. So we have the sun here, and obviously the sun is not blue. We're going to make it a nice gold color. You can make it any color you want, reddish or not. And the sun, oh, we have to arrange to bring this to the front too. So the sun will actually sit over the slit, and it will be the thing that draws the flowers up and down. It is a good size, so our sun is all ready to go. Now we have a few other elements. Now these are the stems that we are going to use for our flowers, and I'm not going to worry about these flowers for just a second. So the stem itself can be a brownish color, but it should be pretty sturdy. So you have an option of cutting it out of a thicker paper like the craft board and just using that, or gluing a couple of pieces together. I prefer to use the thicker board and maybe a color on top. So we need 4 of these, but before that I want to change this color, and I want to change it to, I think it was this purple. There we go. So that is the craft board color, and we need 4 of these. So 1, oh, let's just duplicate it this way. Click on it here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So now we have our 4 pieces, and those are going to be craft board. Now, if you decide that you also want to then have pieces with a different color on the outside, so they could be a green, I'm going to highlight these, and I am going to duplicate the whole thing, bring it over, and I am going to change that stem to maybe a dark green. So now we have a stem and a craft board piece. Now, last but not least, we need to prepare, of course, for our flowers. And I've given you a lot of little floral designs that you can nest. Now, I've left them this blue color, but you can use all kinds of different pattern papers and everything. You can duplicate these over. This little button is going to go in the middle of the flowers. So we have 4 flowers that are going to go across the top. So let me duplicate this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just put these together. These are going to be the center of the flowers. I'm going to grab those centers, and I'm going to change that color, and the centers are going to be the same color as the sun. So I can actually take all of these guys up. I just want to move. Okay, I'm just going to put them up here by the sun. It's interesting how it doesn't want to move for me. Okay, I'll just bring them up one at a time. So we have our yellow elements. Now for the sun, you can decide whether you want to add another one here. Let me arrange this and bring it to the front. You can add a reinforcement piece in behind here. I'm also going to make that yellow, and that's because it's just going to be reinforcement. So, and that's going to go behind the sun, and that's so we can use our lever and go up and down. So now we're going to do 4 flowers. So now it's entirely up to you what 4 you want to use, whether you want to put things on top of each other. What I generally do is I will just grab these and I will just make a copy. I'm holding my Alt key down. There we go. So I can make maybe 3 sets of these, and then I can decide what I want to do with them at the other end. Now, these are set to be the same color as this, but I don't want them the same color. I want these to be sort of different pattern pieces that we can work with. So let's go with a nice purpley color. So we've got something that is a little bit different, and we can play with all of the parts and pieces with this. Now, we are going to work a little bit on the assembly tomorrow. So what you want to do in Design Space here is to go ahead and cut all of these pieces out. So let's click over here on Make. I'm not going to save mine because I've already cut mine out. Now I've got all the yellow pieces here, which is fine. And then we have our grass on the next two. They're slightly different colors. So let's move these to the first one. So let's move the object to the sun one. And let's grab that grass. Let's put it at the bottom. We've got another grass here. I prefer doing this one this way because I have more control over what I want to have here. So the grass can be cut out at the bottom here. So you just have to make note you need a 2" by 12 for that. All right, number 2 and 3 are done. Now we have the backing of our, of course, stems. That's going to be another color. It's going to be a medium cardstock. And it looks like I've got 5 of them. I only need 4, but we'll keep one as a backup. And I'm going to move that object. And I am going to move it to the yellow one again. Now I'm going to have to move these because they're going to be stems that we are going to cut out separately. I only want 4, but for some reason we ended up with 5. Okay, just grab that. And we'll keep our spare here. We'll allow ourselves to cut that one out. So that's a 4" by 4" piece that can go here. Now, when we come to the card itself, perfect. I'm going to move these down. I just like to have them at top and bottom. It's just easier to control. The next sheet I'm coming across has, of course, our slider and another greeting. So those are okay. I don't need to make any adjustments. Now this is all our craft board, so I'm going to leave it as is because that is a different material. The 8th one is the one I want to work on because I want you to be able to use different patterned pieces. So what you're going to do is just drag a couple of different shapes down, and we're going to make these sort of 12 inches across. So you can add different designs for each of these. So that could be one design across the top here. Of course, I'll move this down. I'll move this down. I'll put one of these up. Oh, I've got one up there already. I've got one here and one here. Now you can make these all different pattern pieces of paper. I'm just lining these up so that you can use little squares that you want. You can be as detailed as you want. I like to use little 2 by 2 inch squares so that I can go through. Let's go 10, 8, 10, 6, 8. If these little 2 inch squares gives me the ability to play around and use different pattern pieces that I want, or one strip of paper. It depends on what you want. And you can cut out way more than what you need. You'll just have a few extras. So we are ready now to go ahead and cut things out. Just remember, on your first mat, you want a little piece of 3 by 5 to go for the yellow. You want, let me move this one in a bit here. So a 4 by 4 piece for this corner and a 2 by 12 piece at the bottom. And that will give you your sun, your stems, and your grass. And then we come to this next one, should be empty. And this one should be empty. 4th one should be empty. 5th one is your card and cardstock, and you'll need a pen for both of these. This one will be your craft board that you're going to use. And of course, this is going to be all the different patterns that you have. You can decide how you want to cut those. So let's click on continue. I clicked on the craft board one because I want to show you a couple of things here. It's going to connect with my Maker 3, and it's going to come up with a list of things. Now, I have set these as my favorites. I'm only allowed 10. So Craftboard was one of mine, and it's telling me that it's a favorite. Now, if you wanted to set a favorite, we're going to click Browse All Materials. See my craft board here. If I click here, turns it off, it will be gone from my favorites. As you see, it's gone here now. So if I click on browse all materials, let's go back to my craft board. I want it as a favorite, and of course we're going to select it anyway and click on done, and that's going to bring it back to my favorites. Now for all of this, you're going to read exactly what it was. This one has a score pen and basic cut. This has a basic cut and pen and a basic cut. So it gives you everything that you need to know, so you have everything lined up. So get this cut and we will be ready for day 3 tomorrow.